Welcome to St. John's Sunday School.
Welcome to Sunday School this morning, everyone. Our candle is lit, which is our prayer for you that you are well and happy and safe. And it is time to go to church. So this morning, we're going to do something a little bit different because today we're celebrating Ascension, which is when Jesus goes into heaven. Jesus has risen from the dead. Jesus goes into heaven. But we're going to do it by doing a couple of craft projects. Now, for the craft projects, you get to choose your favorite. Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. For a craft project, you're going to need your paper. This is our construction paper. Any color you want. Pink. You're going to need scissors. Again, get the kid scissors if you can find them. And tape, coloring things, as well as anything you want to decorate. So it's kind of that kind of craft project. So
Can I get cotton balls real quick?
No, but another time we can do cotton balls. Okay, so this morning is Ascension Sunday, where Jesus goes into heaven. And the disciples were left on their own, and they had to figure out a couple of basic questions. And one of the questions that we came up with, that the disciples had to figure out, was where was Jesus? Where is God? So, as we're going to talk about where is God, Amelia, who came up with this craft.
Yay. I did.
You're going to explain what we need to do. What do we need to do?
So we're making the bishop's hat.
So we're making the bishop's hat, or the mitre, yeah. And how many pieces of paper do we need to do that?
2. It can be any color. I just chose pink. Pink because it was the first color I could get. So.
And what do I need to do? I need to make a shape?
First, let me just.
Okay.
First, you need one sheet of paper, and either way, I just like flipping it over. You cut a cavern in.
You cut a cavern in?
No.
Just got to show them.
You cut a cavern in, basically a triangle or cave-ish. Is the best you can do. I try to make it even, but sometimes it doesn't turn out even. And you put that to the side for now. Then you get the next one, and you try to make it as the exact same as possible.
So cut 2 triangles out.
Yes, of the thing.
I have an idea. I'm gonna put my sheets together.
That's also okay. But how I thought, what I found was easier to do.
Yeah.
Is if you just take a piece of tape and put it on the side. Sorry, wrong place. Put it on the side near the top, but not at the very top.
Put it on the side near the top, but not at the very top. Yeah.
So basically,
like that.
There. Right,
yeah. Okay.
Right there. And it's good.
And
then you grab your other sheet. And
you stick them together.
Try to make them even.
Okay.
As best you can.
Oh yeah, mine's not super even, but that's probably okay.
Yeah,
so
probably okay.
I was thinking, Amelia.
And then you grab the next piece of tape and put it in the middle. Make the next piece.
Okay.
This is.
We're almost out of tape.
Then you put that one on the bottom. Then you make it like that.
But before we tape it all up, I wanted to talk about some of the stuff because we're going to decorate what's going to be our bishop's hat or our mitres. This is Amelia's mitre that she made, kind of in anticipation today. So, but I was thinking we should decorate it with all kinds of images for where we think God is.
That's a good idea.
Okay. So where we think God is. So Amelia's done some stars and some dots on this one.
Jewels, Mom.
Jewels. So it's kind of like a crown. I think Amelia likes Archbishop Melissa's mitre very much. but it's sometimes easier to do it when it's flat. So Amelia's not going to do it when it's flat. I'm going to do it when it's a flat. But I'm just wondering where you think God is.
If you don't want to do it flat, then, well, you have to do this. Anyways, you tape it up the same way you taped it in.
Okay, so, hey, Emil.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering where you think God is, because this has been something we've talked about a lot.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
And
because
he's not, he or she is not just, you don't have to just have like a hat or a paper hat to reach up to God. Anything you do can relate to God because God is inside you.
Anything you can do can relate to God because God is inside you. So this sort of came about, this conversation, because Amelia was thinking that the reason that the bishop's hat is so tall is to reach to God. And one of Amelia's...
Kind of like the story of Babble.
The Tower of Babel. So one of Amelia's favorite stories is the Tower of Babel, which is a story about people who
wanted to build this tower up to God, to always be able to go to God. But eventually, it was so high that it fell down.
It was so high that it fell down. And did they end up getting closer to God?
No, they just ended up being the same way where they were. Even when the tower was getting built.
Even when the tower
was... Because you can't forcibly go to God.
You can't forcibly go to God.
God comes to you.
God comes to you.
In a way.
I think you're right. I think we can seek God, but I think God comes to us.
More than we come to God. Because you can't, like, you can't build a tower or do anything forcibly.
You can't force God.
You can't, basically, you can't go up to heaven unless if you die or pass away.
Yeah, you're losing your train of thought a little bit? Yeah, that's okay. Because Amelia's actually given this quite a bit of thought, and this is something she wanted to chat about. But it seemed to me that Ascension Sunday was a good Sunday to talk about it. We can't really see my drawing because our markers seem to have gone walking mostly. But I've got mountains and lakes. Yeah, mountains and lakes and rivers. Now, if you don't want to make a mitre, that's okay. You don't have to make a mitre. A mitre is actually supposed to be the flames of fire, which is actually another good thing for next week when we talk about Pentecost. But you can also make a paper airplane. So, because I was thinking about all the
various... That was also my idea.
It was your idea. I know
because
you're on it this week.
Because even though, like, planes go up high, but even at a certain height, they'll always fall down. So I thought it's basically like relating to the story of Babel, because eventually it fell down.
Yeah, I don't think the planes fall down, they come down.
Yeah.
We don't want them to fall down. Yeah. But it seems like things that go through the air are a good reminder of God. So if we threw a paper airplane, Amelia's going to make a paper airplane. If we threw a paper airplane, where it lands, is that where God is?
Basically.
Because if I threw a paper airplane across the room and it landed under the dining room table, is God under the dining room table?
Kinda, because God's everywhere.
I was going to say, if God's everywhere, God's under our dining room table. If I threw a paper airplane and it landed in the pantry, is God in the pantry?
Same thing with the dining room table, because God is everywhere.
Because God is everywhere.
And He can be in every place at the same time.
If I took the paper airplane and I threw it outside and it landed in our willow tree, is God there?
Yeah, because God is everywhere. And He's basically like a spirit. And how I think of it, spirits can be in any place at the same time.
Because God is
everywhere.
A divine being, God can be everywhere at the same time. And also...
He can basically, like, divide His body.
Yeah, we don't need to get into the metaphysical of that, because that gets really tricky. But God is in our hearts, and God is everywhere. So this week, as you make your mitres, as you make paper airplanes and throw your paper airplanes around, try to remember that God is in all of those places, just like God is in us. And that when the disciples had to figure out where Jesus was, where Jesus is, in the end, what they realized was that Jesus was with God, which is to say Jesus is everywhere and in our hearts. So we hope you are safe. We hope you take care. And we will see you next week for Pentecost. So God bless. Bye-bye.